Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another edition of Rough Drafts. So right now on Magic Online, we have a special event up, and that is Modern Cube. So if you're not familiar with cubes and cubing, it's basically like a homemade Magic set specifically for drafting, and the Modern Cube on Magic Online, I believe Randy Bueller is part of it, or maybe designed it, or I don't know. I could be wrong there, don't quote me. I know he is involved with the cubes in some way. Anyway, it's all modern legal cards and should be interesting. So lots of powerful but all modern legal stuff. So let's see what we get here in pack number 1. So powerful things in this pack. Ugh. Oh, modern cube. When you see vintage cube, Vintage Cube's a bit more powerful, but this is still, it's interesting. So, Shrine of Burning Rage is a really good mono red card, although mono red has been a bit nerfed in this version of the cube. No good Planeswalkers. Chandra Nalaar is pretty bad. The Planeswalker deck is good in this format. Archangel, I'm not 100% sure if they have the combo. Fetchland is very good fixing. I don't know if we want to take it here. Elves is kind of medium ramp for a green X deck. I don't know what to take here. I don't really want to be mono red aggro. That seems boring. Would rather do something more exciting than that. A little bit more flashy, perhaps. Let's take Arid Mesa, I think. None of these cards really stick out, so let's take Arid Mesa and see if we can build maybe like a sweet 5-color deck. Something fun. Honestly, when it comes to cubing, for me it's all about having fun. So I would rather have fun and not post an insane record than not have fun and win with like mono red or something. That's just not really exciting to me. That said, we have a Smuggler's Copter, which is an extremely powerful card. It can work in slower decks. We have a Garruk, which is an okay Planeswalker. Nixilis is a fine Planeswalker. So we could start taking Planeswalkers, Threads, Drakehaven. I don't know if there's enough build around. I'm assuming that there's not enough stuff to really make this good. We might just take Smuggler's Copter. I think the only real choices here, as far as I can tell, are Copter or one of the Planeswalkers. I would probably take Nixilis. I'm just going to take Copter, though. Stay colorless, stay open, figure out where we're going from there. So, now we have interesting options. Sorin is a reasonable Planeswalker. It works well with our Smuggler's Copter. Can also be good in a more slower controlling deck, or we could end up like a token style deck. So that's a possibility. Thoughtseize is good if we end up black. It feels like now's the time when we're going to be committing to a color. Tireless Tracker is strong in a more mid-rangey shell. Kakusho could be fine in ramp. Westville Abbey, if we go tokens, hopefully that tables. I think I'm just going to take Sorin here. Still really not sure where we're heading. We could take like a reasonable counter spell, but I'm just going to take the Planeswalker and see where we end up from there. Now we get a pack with nothing super exciting. So, in black and white, we have Soldier of the Pantheon, which we don't want. Runescar Demon, which is sweet but super expensive. Eternal Witness is probably the flashiest card here. Mikaeus Lunarch could be good if we actually end up a token deck. It is a good way to pump our entire team. I guess it can come down pretty early in Crew Copter. Eternal Witness is a card I just always like having in my decks, pretty much no matter what. Voice of Resurgence isn't horrible. Supreme Will if we're going to be the control deck, but I don't think we're heading that direction. Let's just take Mikaeus and stick to the token plan for now and see where we end up. Ooh. Alright, so now we have options. Liliana is a strong Planeswalker. Selfless Spirit is a good way to protect our stuff. And Falkenrath Aristocrat could be a really good splash finisher. There's also another fetch land which we would like. Negate would be our control option, but I think the ship has sailed to be like mono blue control. I think we're just going to take Liliana. Liliana seems pretty good in this deck. It's a good finisher. So it seems like we're heading towards sort of a... We had a couple paths. We could end up just being like a super frenzy, mid-rangey, white-black, good removal, good threats, good planeswalkers. We could also end up a more dedicated token go wide deck, which is where Mikaeus would like us to be. Sorin also works really well with that plan. Copter, I guess, works with either, although to make Copter good, we do have to make sure we have enough stuff to crew it. So we would want to avoid being like ultra spell heavy, not very many creatures if we're going to go that direction. So this is kind of a big and somewhat deciding pick for the direction of our draft. I mean, we can always change, but this is going to kind of decide what direction we're going. So Wrath of God is going to be really good if we end up the slower, more controlling, maybe Jun, maybe Abzan, maybe Esper, maybe straight white-black. Murderous on the other hand, is a really good targeted removal spell that would be better if we were going to be more the tokeny, more aggressive list. I think I'm going to take Wrath, not because I'm committed to being a slow controlling deck, but because I feel like in white-black, we should be able to pick up more targeted removal than we are able to pick up Wrath in this cube. Well, this is a really interesting pack. Grizzlebrand is basically on my never pass list, although I don't know how practical reanimation is in this cube. Although we do have a copter for discarding. Liliana can potentially get cards in the graveyard, so we could take Grizzlebrand. Hero of Bladehold is good in the token deck. Flicker Wisp is also good. Windbrisk Heights is also good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're not getting a card back. I'm going to stick to my guns. I don't know if we play this. I don't know if it's good, but you just can't pass a Grizzlebrand. We'll figure out what to do with it. Maybe we don't even play it, but it's just so powerful. Well, now it feels like we're heading towards a more slower deck. We can take Fetid Heath for fixing, which would be fine, or we take Phyrexian Arena for some card draw / card advantage, grind out the game. I'm just going to take Arena. I like Phyrexian Arena. And now we get, man, it looks like we're definitely heading towards a more mid-rangey build. Linvala is another good threat. Devour Flash can be good early game removal. Hexmage is a good Planeswalker sniper, and there are a lot of Planeswalkers in this cube. And it's basically just 2 mana kill a Planeswalker. A bit hard to cast, though. I'm going to take Hexmage, I think. I think there are enough Planeswalkers and they are important enough to the cube that this is a fine choice, and it lets us crew our Smuggler's Copter. Well, here we don't really have many options. It's Gifted Aetherborn, which is fine against aggro decks. Una Queen of Fae is just so expensive. I don't think we want it. Lawkeeper is maybe okay. Threads is fine, but not in our colors. We'll take Gifted Aetherborn. So now it actually feels like we're heading more towards like a black devotion-y high-end deck, which I think is okay. Like, I don't think that's a horrible place to be. Most of our cards are actually good there. The one that we probably might not play is Mikaeus, which is a little less efficient if we're playing a more control-style deck. Kikujo's fine. Westfall Abbey is pretty strong, but Banishing Light is just unconditional removal, so if we're going to end up being slow, I think that's fine. Now we get Beast Within 1-drop, Runescar Demon, Voice of Resurgence. I guess we take Runescar Demon. If we do end up somehow being a reanimation deck, it would be good. Herald of Torment is kind of aggressive. I guess we could still be aggressive with this shell. I'm going to take Herald, I think. It's not impossible that we like cut Grizzlebrand, maybe cut the Wrath, and we're kind of this weird mono black or black white aggro-y deck with our Planeswalkers kind of as the top end. I mean, we got some good 2-drops. It could work. Take Trophy Mage. When in doubt, take the land, I guess. I would be very surprised if we end up playing it, but you never know. Could happen. So far, I'm like moderately happy with this deck. Ooh. Well, that's Greyborn Buse is not a bad last pick. We have lots of card advantage. In this pack, ooh, good lord. Well, thankfully we get some good options, like Jinx Joker. Why is this in the cube? What are you doing, Wizards? Oh my goodness. Oh, it's so bad. Snapcaster Mage is a great card, but I don't think we can play it. I think the 2 top cards, well, 3 top cards for our deck are Godless Shrine, great fetch target for Arid Mesa. Elspeth is an insanely strong Planeswalker, and Elish Norn is another great reanimation type target. We haven't even seen any reanimation at all, so we might have to look for Ramp. Oh boy, both of those cards are super strong. Journey to Nowhere would be a card I would like to table. We would play Journey to Nowhere. While I do like the fact that we can fetch out our Godless Shrine and fix our mana, I don't think we can pass on just a top-end bomb. I think we're going to take Elspeth over Elish Norn. Yeah, I think I'd rather have a Planeswalker than an Elish Norn right now. Okay, this pack, good removal. Even better removal probably in the cube since there's so many Planeswalkers. Star Compass is Ramp, and we might play it, but I don't really want to pick it here. Watery Grave would be helpful for splashing. Messenger is just too hard for us to cast unless we start cutting white cards. Sacred Foundry would be a splash type thing. I think I'm just leaning towards Anguish Unmaking here over the Doomblade, hoping Star Compass tables. Yeah, let's take Anguish Unmaking. We have lots of good card draw, so hopefully we can just kind of like pressure and draw cards and win that way. And it's possible we end up cutting some high-end stuff like Griselbrand. Mentor, Avacyn. I think Avacyn is probably just better than Mentor in this deck. Careful Consideration's good card draw for blue. Reflecting Pool's moderate. Primeval Titan's very good, but I don't think we're going to splash. I feel like our black-white deck is going fine, so we'll just take Avacyn. Another good mid-rangey threat. So I feel like we're going to end up pretty much white. Ooh. Geez, there have been some really good blue cards. I wish we were the control deck. Oh, man. We could add Snapcaster and Torrential Gear Hulk. Well, the only real option for us, apart from a random land or a duress that would be sideboard, is Baneslayer. So maybe we're just like white-black Angels, just white-black mid-range, playing some really powerful stuff, got some good Planeswalkers, decent removal, just kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't think that's a horrible place for us to be. It's not a broken deck by any means, but Modern Cube is very unbroken compared to, like, Vintage or something. If you're playing Vintage or Legacy Cube, you really want to be doing something broken or stopping broken things. I don't think it matters as much in Modern, where everyone's kind of a bit slower. There's no Storm deck. I don't even know if there's any real combo decks, so you're not really at risk of dying on turn 1 or turn 2. Instead, it's more of the value it out plan. Well, Ajani would be a good splash if we do want to splash. We could end up like Abzan midrange. The +1 is a lot of card advantage for hitting our creatures. Cloud Goat's another fine midrange threat, but we just picked 2 5-drops in a row. I don't think we want Grafted War Gear. It's a good aggressive equipment, but I'm not sure how aggressive we are. We could just take Condemn, which is a fine 1-mana removal spell. I think we're just going to take Condemn. I don't think we need to splash. I don't know if we even really want to splash. I just don't know if the incentive is there for us to do that. So Temporal Isolation is basically a weird pacifism. Could take that. Could take Sword of War and Peace, which is more on the aggressive end of the swords. Lots of green ramp cards. Apparently no one's playing the green ramp deck. We'll take Isolation. I don't know if we'll play it, but it's okay. Haven't got any ramp at all. Haven't really got any fixing at all, but if we're going to be straight 2-color, apart from like casting Griselbrand, I don't think it's a huge deal. Although we do have a lot of double black 2-drops, so we would like to pick up some dual lands. Possible we get that Godless Shrine back. That would be a great pickup since it would work really well with our Arid Mesa. I don't think there's anything in our deck we're 100% not playing. It's definitely possible we don't play Griselbrand and or Mikaeus, but everything else seems fine. Jeez. Lots of aggro white cards. Hookmaster, Banisher Priest, Adorn Prouncer, all best in an aggro deck. Fatal Push is a good early game removal spell. We could take it. Either that or we just go for the Mana Tithe Troll. I kind of just want to take Mana Tithe. That's probably incorrect, but I love getting people with Mana Tithe. Kind of my favorite thing to do. Well, it is Modern Cube. Budget Modern Cube. And I guess we can play Evolving Wilds. I don't think we want Angel of Jubilation. Revoker is actually sneaky, and it could be good in our deck. Just to, like, shut down a Planeswalker or something. Or we just take Evolving Wilds. Forsake the Ways, well, Evolving Wilds is pretty bad. Let's take Revoker. Oh, well, I guess we did. Wow. Alright, well, the place we are is fine. There's Journey Nowhere and Elish Norn came back. We'll just take Elish Norn. That's a good top end. If we're not reanimating, it's probably a better top end than Griselbrand in this deck, actually. Deck looks a bit slow, but we have a decent amount of removal. Ooh, and Doomblade back. Alright. Well, what we're doing seems to be open, which is good. Like, those are cards that were in the conversation for us to pick first time the packs came around. Definitely could have just taken those cards. Like, we took Elspeth over Elish Norn, and we took Anguish Unmaking over Doomblade, but the fact that the second best cards for our deck, except for Godless Shrine, did not come back. But the fact that the second best cards for our deck tabled is pretty good. Puppeteer's Click is okay. Glacial Fortress is bad fixing. I think we're going to take Palladium Mirror. I don't know if we play it. I'd rather have my ramp not be creatures. Duress is a good sideboard card, though. Very glad that that came back. I don't think we'll main deck it, but removal, Cloud Goat. I don't think we're going to just play Cloud Goat in this deck. Well, I don't think we're going to play either. Let's take Cloud Goat. Maybe. We could end up with one more 5-drop. Adorn Bouncer, why are you in the cube? Should not be there. That's one of the weird things about this run of Modern Cube, is it does... Ooh, that's new Spellskite art. I have not seen that Spellskite. That's pretty sweet. Well, I think we got a pretty... Well, not that easy. I was going to say we have a really easy pick in Elspeth, which is a really good Planeswalker in Cube. Makes tokens, secure our stuff, helps us finish the game, has a good ultimate. It's one of the more underrated Planeswalkers, I think, in Modern. Blade Splicer's fine. Kitchen Finks is also pretty good in our deck. I think I'm just going to take Elspeth, though. I like having these good Planeswalkers. We have a pretty good Planeswalker curve now. Oh, good blue cards. Another Wrath. We might just have to take Caves of Koilos. Inquisition's a little hit or miss in this cube. Would play Never to Return as a Planeswalker killer, but we have not focused on fixing enough, so I think we're going to take Caves here. With our double black 2-drops, we do want some number of duels. We'll play basically any black-white duel we can get our hands on, and we're going to have more than enough playables. Looking at this deck, wow. All right, Gideon, more Planeswalkers. Hero's Downfall, also would like that. Obsidian Ghost Council, also would play that, but I think we just have to take Gideon here. I think Gideon is just the most powerful of the options. But looking at our deck, we're not going to be short on playables. That's one thing that's pretty much guaranteed. And it's a decent chance of some of those cards table. So we're basically just white-black midrange, which is fine. Here we get not a whole lot, honestly. City of Brass is too painful of a land for us. Sky Sovereign, just another big midrange threat. I don't know how many of those we want to play. Mirror Entity, Scalding Tarn. I guess we can take Oust. That's not an exciting pick. It's not a Path Exile. Victim of Night is still going to be hard to cast. It is good removal, but we got Doomblade, we got Anguish Unmaking, we got Condemned. I don't even know if we want more removal. I guess Oust is okay. So our plan is basically just slow things down over the early game and then hopefully start dropping strong Planeswalkers on turn 3 or turn 4 and just hope that that's good enough here. Definitely not doing anything broken with this deck. But we have a lot of just good value-y stuff. Angel's good, but I don't know if we really want another 7-drop. By good, I mean fine. It's not insane. Hallowed Fountain is fetchable if we were going to splash blue. Blood Gift Demon, another good 5-drop, but how many of those can we possibly play? There's a risk that we get some really clunky hands. Asylum Visitor isn't playable in this deck. We're going to have cards in hand. Hallowed Fountain for a splash. It's just so late to think that we're going to get a splash, but it is fetchable. I don't think we're going to play Blood Gift Demon. I'm going to take Hallowed Fountain. It's possible we splash in Negate or something, and it would come in handy with this Arid Mesa. Also, a pretty good chance that we just don't end up playing it, period, which also is fine. This hand's not, this pack's not great for us. Lots of white, but it's all white aggro stuff, and that's just not where we are. We'll take Gonti. Possible we end up playing Gonti. It's not a bad card. What would you really like to round out this deck, other than another dual land or two? I don't know. I mean, this deck actually looks fairly reasonable. Like I said, definitely not broken, but Modern Cube is not especially a broken place. So we can't really complain that our deck isn't broken in Modern Cube. Instead, it's just, I mean, it's solid. It looks solid. Just kind of grind things out. Oh, Jeez, that's on Burial Rites. Shriekmaw's good, Cast Out good, Hippie's reasonable, on Burial Rites. Oh, that means we could play. We don't really have good discard at all, but we can just like reanimate our stuff as the game goes along. I guess we got Copter and Liliana as ways to get cards in the graveyard. I'm going to take on Burial Rites, I think. I don't know if this changes anything as far as our building. It's risky to bring in another expensive Grizzlebrand without having more discard. That's going to be the problem. But even just like double reanimating our random janky stuff is still fine value. And it's possible we just don't play it. Or we sideboard it. Maybe there's a matchup where we feel like it would be good. Angel of Sanctions, not playing Ruthless Ripper, not playing Boom Bust. I guess we just take Disenchant. When you get to this point, like, is Angel of Sanctions better than Disenchant? Yes. Is Angel of Sanctions going to make our main deck? No. Are we ever going to side in Angel of Sanctions? over Baneslayer, Archangel Avacyn, and Gideon? Also, most likely no. So when you look at that scenario, it's almost always better to take the worst sideboard card that will actually bring in a reasonable number of matchups over a more powerful card that just, we don't need it. Blade Splicer for creatures or Slaughter Pack for removal. I really like Slaughter Pack. It's a really good blowout card. Blade Splicer, I'm going to take Slaughter Pack. We might even play that over like Oust or something. Wandering Death. That screams modern. Well, take Never to Return. Ooh, take Hero's Downfall. Take well, we have all the removal we could ever want and then some. Which is actually good. So we can cut some of our worst removal because we just have tons of removal now. We got to cut 4 cards at this point, and that's probably Unburial Rites can go. And that's not including Gonti, which we might play. And we got, Ink Eyes is actually kind of sweet. I don't know what we're picking up, though, really. I guess we just take Blood Gift Demon. Well, our colors were open, and we got tons of great removal now. I guess we'll take... Actually, if someone wants to play Solemn Recruit, go for it. We'll take Battlefield Forge. I think the dual land actually would improve our opponent's decks more than a Solemn Recruit. Again, not very modern playable. Alright, so basically, we're kind of set as far as what we're doing. And I don't think we're cutting any of our threats. Like, I think all of our threats are pretty much set in stone. Not going anywhere. Copter is a little risky with our creature count, but I think it'll be okay. So basically, this is the stuff we're working with. What removal spells are we going to keep? Actually, we're definitely keeping Phyrexian Arena. The other, as far as our sideboard stuff, not going to play Mikaeus, not going to play Cloud Go. Disenchant's a great sideboard card, as is Duress. Those are cards that I expect will bring in a lot, but we're not going to start with. As far as cards we would actually move to the main deck, I think it's Gonti, potentially, Unburial Rites, potentially. I don't think we can Grizzlebrand in this deck. We just don't have the ramp, and it's so much mana and so many black sources. Although I guess just like playing it, we have so much card draw too, though. Phyrexian Arena draws cards. Our Planeswalkers are kind of natural card advantage. Graveborn Muse draws us cards. Bloodgift Demon, if we wanted to, draws us cards. So I think we're basically just trying to figure out what removal we want. Anguish Unmaking, Hero's Downfall are very good. Banishing Light's also very good. I like having these wide removal spells that hit a lot of stuff. Doomblade is solid. Slaughter Pact is solid. Like, we might not play Victim of Night. Never is sorcery speed, but it does kill a Planeswalker. Condemn, well, I think Oust goes before Condemn. Never to Return, Isolation, Condemn, Mana Tithe. What are we cutting from that pile? It might just be Never to Return. 1, 2, 3 Planeswalker killing spells already. Maybe we just go down Never to Return and run it like this. So this is what it leaves us with. A pretty reasonable curve. A lot of powerful stuff. I think this is fine. I mean, good removal. Reasonable curve. I don't know if we're going to change anything. We definitely want our caves as a land. And we're probably going to end up pretty much just like 8-8 as far as basics, I assume. 9-7. Alright, let's look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11... 12, 13, 14, 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Yeah, we're just going to go 8-8. Especially with the double black 2-drops. Like, we have more white mana symbols, but I'm not especially worried about having double white on 5, 6, 7. I am a little concerned that our Gifted Aetherborns and Hex Mages are going to be very off curve. And even with some draws, Liliana. I think that's the one thing this deck is lacking is more dual lands. I feel like that it's fine, but we might have been a bit greedy not picking more dual lands. We let the Godless Shrine go by. There was also the black-white filter land we let go by. Anyway, I think this is fine. We'll give it a shot. Yeah, we'll run it like this. Be back in a minute for round number 1 of our Modern Cube Rough Drafts. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, take a second and click that like button down below. It's a great way to help support the channel for free. And you can find the next video in the playlist right here.